All right, guys, I read an interesting comment the other day where somebody said, no, slot machines work by always playing down to zero. I hate to break it to you, but the slot machine is not playing down to zero. You are. You're the problem. Now, it is true that slot machines do have a house advantage. In fact, it's one of the worst games to play in the casino, but we all love them. And we always want to look for that edge, some way to at least last a little bit longer and maybe walk away with a big win. Is it possible to do that? We think there is if you follow some very strict tips that we're going to go over in this video today. So if you're ever going to the casino, you might want to watch this just as a refresher before going, just so you have everything in your mind. But also if you have a friend that's just kind of crazy in the casino and is always losing money, this might be the video for them. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so a lot of us do play slot machines. In fact, that's what most of our channel is about because it's such a big market, right? Lots of us play slot machines because we love the excitement, the bonus rounds, the music, everything about it, the jackpots, the hand pays. But we got to come down to reality and realize that this is one of the worst things that you can play inside of a casino. And casinos know that, right? And that's why 90% of the floor is slot machines. As long as people play them, they're going to put them in there, right? But there are some things that you can do to kind of shrink that house edge a little bit and not go out of control. Because like we said in the intro, guys, slot machines don't play down to zero. You're the one that's doing that, right? And you need to put some things in place. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. Okay, when you sit down at these things, one of the first things that you need to say, and what we like to say, is I'm in control. I'm not going to let your sounds, your pots, your firecrackers, your pigs, your noise, your attract mode, the demo mode that shows the big gigantic wins, I'm not going to let any of that control me.
It's not even a machine, Flora. It's an entity. It's a thing with a mind and a will of its own. That monster, that thief, it took my last silver dollar, Flora.
I'm not going to let that affect me. That's what you need to do. Because I will tell you, slot machine manufacturers go to as far as they possibly can on the ethical boundaries of manipulation on these things to make you feel like you have an edge at that particular time that you're playing. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case at all. It's all an illusion. They spend a lot of time on that to get into your brain thinking that you have some kind of edge. So when you see the pots getting big or the firecrackers or any of those type of games, the triple pops, you know what I'm talking about? You see those? More often than not, 99% of the time, it is perceived progression, which means it's just an illusion. So that's one of the tactics and tricks that slot manufacturers build into their games to keep you playing. So we need to know that, because if you know that, think about the odds that are going to increase in your favor because you're not going to chase. You're not going to keep putting money in. It's all about money management at the end of the day. I know we talk about that a lot on this channel, but it's true, guys. The way that you win at slot machines is to have discipline and money management. That is the only thing. If you think you can overcome a slot machine, and we're not talking about advantage play, that's a whole nother ball of wax. We're talking about just the average slot machine that's out there. The only way to overcome these things is money management and discipline, okay? So how do you do that? What are some tactics and tricks that you can use to help control your budget along the way? Well, the first thing is don't have your entire budget sitting in your wallet when you go down to play slot machines. That is stupid. That is not the way to do it. If you do that, you are going to be very tempted to keep feeding the machine over and over again, especially if you get fixated on it and you feel like you've got some kind of investment like into the bonus round because you haven't gotten it yet. It's got to come, right? When you do that and you put your entire budget in your wallet, you are more likely to start feeding it in there recklessly and lose control. So that is the number one tip that I can give you, is to create sessions and stick with them, okay? Do not have your entire bankroll on you at once. Put it in the car, hide it away in the car, give it to a spouse, put it in a timed lockbox, put it in your room in the safe, whatever you want to do with it. But what it should not be is in your wallet, because if the temptation is there, I don't care how disciplined you are, eventually it's going to break down. It's happened to me, it's happened to Dave, it's happened to all of us, or most of us. The temptation will be there when all the variables are set, right? Everybody's around you hitting hand pays, you're getting excited, everything's fun, exciting, and you ran out of money. So what do? You go back into your pocket with the rest of your bankroll and you just start feeding money in, and then you're broke. That's not good. So that's tip number one, and I think this is the most important one: session management. Make sure that you only bring down a little bit at a time. When I have, say, $1,000 bankroll for a couple of days, I will bring down $100 or $200 max at the casino floor at a time. And once that's gone, it's gone. It doesn't matter what I play. Sometimes I feel risky and I want to play $5 machines. I know that if I do that and I lose the 200, that's it, right? My session's over. Even if it was 5 minutes long, my session is over. I'm probably not going to do the $5 machines on my next session because I want to slow it down a little bit, but it's up to you at that point, right? You need to make that decision. All right, session management, budget control, leaving your stuff in your car or wherever. Guys, it's super important. I'm telling you, that will save you more often than not. Let's get on to some more tips. Okay, if you've ever said this to yourself, and we hear it in the comments all the time, and I've said it to myself too, I just can't walk away. I'm just having too much fun on this machine, or I feel like I'm due this bonus, I gotta keep playing. You gotta set the floors and the ceilings. So what is that exactly? So before you start spending anything on a slot machine, when you sit down and you put $100 in, or $50 or whatever you wanna do with your session, you need to set what your walkaway limit is gonna be on that machine. $50, $20, zero. You make that call before you start spinning, and you need to be happy with that. And then set your ceiling also. So if you end up getting it up to a certain amount, that is also your walkaway limit. But when you do that, something special needs to happen. Whatever your walkaway limit is, let's say you put in $100 and you went up to 150, what you need to do is take that $50 and put it away in a lockbox or whatever. Those are your winnings. Those are things that you can take home and you can continue to play off of your session. Alternatively, and this is another way to look at it, is that you can take your original session amount, $100, and put that away and just play off of the $50. I hope I didn't lose you guys in those examples, but it's a very common question that comes up, and it's something that you should consider doing if you do struggle with getting up and walking away. Do not ever make the decision based on how the machine is performing. That is a slippery slope, and you're going to run into problems there, okay? Like we talked about before, these things are built to keep you engaged, to keep you feel invested, like you need to stay on it until something good happens. But I'm telling you, in the long run, if you let that happen, you will end up losing more often than winning, because you will not walk away until you feel satisfied. But when is it satisfying enough to walk away? 15 credits, 100 times win, 50 times win, a jackpot hand pay? When is it? And it's hard to determine that. And sometimes we change it because we're feeling out the machine. I'm using those in quotes. You can't feel out the machine, guys. You cannot feel out a state of machine to say this is hot, this is a hot machine, it's paying out. It's a cold machine, it's not paying out. Those things are irrelevant and they will get you in trouble. Instead, focus on your money. Focus on setting those ceilings and floors, and you will start to walk away more often when you should be, instead of being invested in that machine and feeling like you've got to keep pumping money into it. All right? Makes sense? If you're struggling with that, I guarantee you this is a good one to do. All right, let's get on to the next one. And I know what you're saying. I just can't stop playing these damn things. They're so fun. Or I just got a killer bonus round. I want to go to the high limit room, do some damage. Stay cool, okay? We're going to talk about taking breaks here. This is the other part that is crucial in any time that you're playing slot machines, okay? Even more than table games, in my opinion, because table games are very slow. You can kind of take breaks along the way. You can skip a hand or two, whatever the case is. When you're in front of a slot machine, you are generating and churning through cash very quickly. And that's why taking breaks are imperative to ensuring your overall success on a slot machine. So what is that exactly? So we talked about sessions, right? So we got your bankroll, we talked about sessions. Now let's talk about taking breaks. After each session, you must take a break between 30 minutes and an hour, or even longer if you need to. This is important because it resets your brain. If you had a big hit or you lost all your session money, you are not in a neutral state where you are going to be reasonable with yourself and thinking about how everything works, your budget, all that. You are going to be in a bad state. That is not a state to start gambling again, okay? And casinos are designed for that, right? That's why it's very hard to get to your room, because you got to intertwine through all these different slot machines and rooms and things like that. It's all by design, guys. It's to get you to get, oh, I'm just not ready to go up to the room. Just another 20. I'm just put another 20. It's all by design. But you got to remember, when your session is done, get up, walk outside, go to your room and chill out. I do this a lot. If you are not feeling it, right? If you feel like you are on the verge of losing control, you must take that break. You must go do something else. And the more out of control you feel, the longer your break needs to be. I have been known, and I did this to Vegas, and I'm sorry, Stefan, Old School Slots, but I completely skipped out on our Friday in Vegas because I was not feeling it. I had $1,500 in my bank. I had about $900 on me, and I'm just like, I've been here for 5 days. I'm just not feeling it. I want to just stay in my room and chill out and do something other than gambling. And that's okay. And it sucks sometimes because I missed out hanging out with my good buddy, but it's a decision that I had to make. And I want you guys to feel comfortable with making those decisions too, so you don't become reckless. I feel confident that if I would have gone out and played all day, that extra 900 would have been gone. But instead, I came home with it. So how cool is that, right? Think about that next time that you go to play machines, or even just table games too. Think about taking those breaks, knowing when to just say that's enough, even at the cost of, going down and hanging out with friends. They will understand. If they're good friends, they will understand that you are just at your limit. You don't want to play anymore, okay? All right, let's wrap this all up. All right, so I hope these 3 tips at least give you some comfort and plan into going into the casino for the next time, because you got to remember that these things are designed to suck you dry, right? And although it's not really true that slot machines play down to zero, but the players do, they do have a lot of power over you. And if you realize that and you're educated enough about the manipulation that is going on with these things, then I think that you will be a little bit more level-headed going in and playing, because you understand what is going on and what the casino is trying to do to trick you into playing more and more and more, okay? The cardinal rule is the longer you play, the more you will lose, all right? You hit a big hand pay, why do they always come up to you and say, we'll see you soon, good luck on the next one, hope the next one's bigger? Why do they say all these things? Because they're encouraging you to keep playing. That is the casino's goal, okay? You need to be stronger than that. Like I've said in previous videos, you need to walk into there like you own the place. I own this casino. You're not going to control me for anything, right? If I don't want to use my free play, I don't want to use my free play. Well, you should use your free play. But if I want to turn down other things to get me to go down to the casino floor when I'm done, that's what you should do, right? You need to think about what is my responsibility, my goals here in the casino, not what the casino goals are to overpower you with tricks, slot machine tricks, or comp tricks, whatever they have up their sleeve to try to get you to keep playing. So just keep that in mind, guys. I hope your next casino visit just a little bit better if you put some of these things in place. I know we've talked about it a lot on this channel, but these are important things and reminders that we need to always bring back to the surface over and over and over again, because repetition is king here. It'll get you to start remembering things. You can have Dave and Mark on your shoulders say, no, don't put that extra 100 in. We hope that someday it will help some of you if you put this into place, and I think you will become smarter and better gamblers.